Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. It's the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, host of the program and owner-broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, with the real estate market cooling off a bit, many home sellers don't want to wait to sell their homes or worry about their contracts failing for various reasons. What are the benefits of accepting a cash offer on their home versus waiting for that traditional sale?
Well, Richard, it shouldn't be cooling off. It should be our prime time for selling right now, but the rates keep creeping up a little bit. Last time I checked, it was, leaning towards the mid sixes. And that means there are fewer buyers for the home sellers to compete with. So some home sellers absolutely want the certainty of, hey, I got offers, let me just take one. So and if in general, if you have two offers in front of you, a lot of sellers will ask if one is cash and one is not cash, what's the benefit of one or the other? And really the only difference between a cash offer versus a financed offer is that the only sticking point on a cash offer is the inspection. Whereas on a financed offer, you got to worry about the inspection and the buyer's loan approval and the appraisal. You have a lot of landmines to get through before you get to the finish line. So, a lot of sellers kind of want the sure bet. But some cash buyers think that, oh, well, I should get a discount because I have this cash. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's the case. It really just depends on how good the offer is. So how does a home seller decide what is the best offer for them? Well, first of all, right now in this market, if you are a home seller and you're getting more than one offer, it's a happy thing. It means that, okay, you've got choices and you can make a decision. But in general, a lot of people love cash offers because they're faster, they're simpler. There are less issues to worry about. You don't have to worry about loan approval, appraisal, buyers, failing to get their financing put together. I remember I had one deal fall apart because the military guy got transfer orders in the middle of the transaction. Nothing you can do about it, right? You have to let it go and try to get another buyer. So this certainty for home sellers of a cash offer is obviously very appealing, but they don't realize that certainty and price are not necessarily the same thing. In other words, typically a cash offer can close quickly, but that doesn't mean that the seller wants to close quickly. I recently got a cash offer on one of my listings, and they wanted to close really quick, and the seller's like, oh, I gotta move all that stuff. I'm not sure I can do it that fast. So there's a lot of things that people have to consider when they're looking at offers. Typically, a cash deal can close in as little as 10 days, but the average person can't really plan and execute a move that quickly, especially if they have a household full of stuff. A lot of times the offers might come in below market value. So if it's an investor buyer, everybody assumes that, oh, they're going to try to steal my equity, but that's not always the case, at least in our world. So traditional buyers typically might offer more money than a cash buyer, but they take longer to close and they come with a lot of contingencies. Well, can I get my financing? Will this third party appraiser agree that it's worth what I agreed to pay? So there's a lot of things that could derail the transaction. And I have to ask the sellers, do you want the most money or do you want certainty? And there's some sellers that will pick a lower net dollar amount to them and the certainty over worrying about the traditional sales process and having the deal fall apart. And it's interesting to me that 30% now of home sellers are just saying, yep, I'll take the cash money and get out of here. They'd rather eliminate that risk. And not all finance buyers are risky. I've seen some really strong financed offers where they're putting a huge down payment. I've seen some offers where they waived the appraisal because they don't have to worry about it. The buyer's financial ability to perform is strong enough that we don't even need that. So you need to know the whole picture. Recently, I helped a ex or retired Marine infantry officer sell his home in the northwest part of town. And when we first met, I asked him, okay, what's most important? Is it price? Is it timing? Is it who buys it? And he goes, well, it's price. I want the most money. I said, okay. So I said, well, what I suggest that you do is price it what I call very realistically versus optimistically. And he wasn't sure about that. His traditional mindset was like, well, most people, ask for a higher price and expect a negotiation in between. But I can tell you, the buyers won't even show up at your house if you build in negotiating room with the price. So I don't recommend that you do that. We ended up having a good grand opening of the home. We got 40 people there in a very short period of time. I had 6 different offers on the house. And I was so proud of myself when I showed up with 6 offers. I'm like, see, isn't this fun? I got you multiple offers. And he goes, no. And I said, why not? And he goes, I told you to get me the most money. How are you going to get me the most money? I'm like, my God, I got 6 offers here. So I ended up working the 2 top buyers against each other. And he actually picked the second highest offer because it was cash. It was because of that certainty, because of that fear of what if after inspection, the house does not appraise at the agreed upon sales price? What if we're 3 weeks into the deal and we've already boxed up all of our stuff? The house doesn't look show ready, and I might have to walk back the price if the appraiser doesn't agree it's worth that much, and end up having to resell it again. All of those are nightmare scenarios. So we ended up opting for the little bit lower cash buyer. So I totally get why he did it. It was a lot of fun. The process was a lot of fun. So just so you know, the best offer is not always the highest offer. You have to take a really hard look at all of the terms. Got an offer last weekend, contingent on a home that just went under contract. So I told the buyer, hey, you got to worry about your buyer and their buyer and make sure all of those processes go through. So you have to understand your goals, your timeline, what is your tolerance for risk. And the traditional financed offer has some issues, which would be appraisal, loan approval, and of course the inspection. But if you accept an offer contingent on their home selling, then you also have to worry about their buyer's appraisal, inspection, and loan approval. So if you are thinking of making a move, we help home sellers do this every day. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show. So we're talking about what are the pros and cons of traditional versus cash offers. And when we come back, we're going to talk about a few things that will help your deal from falling through. Give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, and you can reach her at 719-301-3900. We're talking with Barb about how sellers can trade up to a new house. So if a seller does take a cash offer, is there any risk of it falling through or giving up some of the equity in a deal like that?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, you can't make a buyer buy or a seller sell. Any deal probably could fall through. It's just less likely to fall through if the only issue is inspection. And generally, that's the one that you got to worry about. Now, a lot of people assume that cash buyers are low offers. Not the case. We typically show up at every listing with at least a dozen offers on our seller's home, and they can make the decision about which option they want to go with. Do they want to go on the open market and take the risk, or they just want to take a cash offer and get it done? And we have some really great buy before you sell programs that allow to make the seller to make that transition from one house to another without having to time the market just right, without having to worry about, oh my God, I got to load up the moving van in a few days and get out and then get the money and then move to the next house. This way you can move at your pace. You have a certainty of the sale, and it could be done in as little as a few weeks. We have a whole bunch of programs like that. And we also guarantee price. So if you want to give us a call and take a look at our cash offers, we can put any address in the country up in our system and get you multiple cash offers. Give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com.
Barb, you and your team are the only company that I would recommend to people out there thinking of selling their homes and downsizing to a smaller home. To reach Barb, give her a call at 719-301-3900. Barb, your favorite time? Mine as well. Hot new listings. What do we have this week?
Oh, Richard, I have a spectacular log home out in beautiful Peyton Pines on 7.45 acres with a huge attached 2-car, almost 3-car garage, plus a detached 6-car shop that's just spectacular on beautiful treed acreage, a high-performing well, a chicken hotel, total privacy, total quiet, and really the perfect Colorado getaway where you feel like you're in the mountains, but you're only 30 minutes from town on Steeplechase, priced at $874,999. Another beautiful home on Eagle Mountain in Manitou Spring. I'm sorry, in Crystal Park, right behind Manitou Springs, priced just under $1 million. This home has a gorgeous RV garage and offers VA assumable loan. We also have an amazing condo on Lexington Village, almost 1,600 square feet at $179,900. Beautiful home for sale in Pueblo that's basically owned by the VA on Buffalo Lane in Pueblo, $230,500. An amazing property south of Pueblo on 62 acres at $599,900 on Reno Road. And then we also have an amazing rancher on Cascading Springs Circle, priced at $469,900. This beautiful ranch has all kinds of smart technology and would be a great place to have a home that you could enjoy Colorado living, but then still be able to travel and enjoy traveling and be able to control the house from afar. We also have an amazing condo in town on Sonata Drive, priced at $199,900. And then a beautiful townhome, 1,600 square feet, 3-bedroom, 3-bath, lots of storage at $309,900. New to the market this week, a beautiful townhome downtown on 275 Fountain, almost 3,000 square feet with a 2-car garage in a great location in the low 500s. Another beautiful home in Crystal Park in Manitou at $849,900. This home has over 4,000 square feet, spectacular views, solar system. It's totally move-in ready. We also have a great home on 2436 North Meade Avenue, 3-bedroom, 1-bath with a 1-car in the low 300s. Another gorgeous home with a VA assumable loan down in Pueblo on Gold King at $369,000. Great home on 5 acres on Warriors Pass in the low 6s. And then a couple of spectacular luxury homes. One of them is a hobby farm on Judge Orr Road at $1,399,000. This home has an auxiliary dwelling unit, 11-car enclosed space, a beautiful custom ranch style home, and 2 barns at a great price. And then another beautiful home up in Florissant at $2.15 million on 35 acres, gorgeous treed lot with a beautiful shop that has its own apartment. And coming soon, a couple of sneak peek homes, one in Briargate and another one in Peyton on 35 acres, also with an assumable loan. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900. Do you want to find out about our coming soon properties? Go to barbhasthebuyers.com and click on featured homes. Richard?
You've been listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. If you're thinking of making a move, you can reach Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. That'll do it for this week. If you didn't hear the entire show, it is always available as a podcast. Barb, you have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, and have a wonderful rest of your week.